Welcome back, I'm Tedward, and welcome to the all-new 2027 Infiniti QX65. This is the autograph spec, so it's absolutely the top trim level. Starts at about $62,000 in this trim, but you can get it for about $52,000, $53,000 if you go for the Luxe. The sweet spot might be the Sport, but today we're going to take this on a little commute back to Nashville. I'm here in beautiful, sunny Tennessee, getting my first taste of summer weather, and I'm very excited. And we're going to see what it's like to operate this and use it as a normal vehicle, because that is what this is. This is an affordable luxury vehicle that's got some athleticism to it, and it's exciting. And look, I'm always rooting for Nissan and Infiniti, and over the years, Infiniti's presence in this market has sort of tapered off, but they are back, and they're trying to come back the way they were, just as strong. In fact, they're even going to be bringing back a sports sedan with a V6 and a manual transmission. So that, at the very least, gives me a lot of hope. But this QX65, sort of a sport back style QX60, but no 3-row, just 2-row, is going to be sort of the first entry into the new fold of the brand's vision. So that's very exciting. Under the hood, a very familiar 2-liter variable compression 4-cylinder making 268 horsepower, 286 pound-feet of torque. Inside, lots of luxury appointments. We've got leather, we've got deviated stitching, we've got this incredible wood, heated and ventilated seats. This one has the 20 speaker Klipsch sound system, so you even get speakers in the headrest, which is pretty lovely. In the rear, you're going to get heated outboard seats. They recline, they move forward and backwards. You've got a lovely little cup holder, armrest. Nothing too fancy, but you do have nice HVAC controls back here. A phenomenally spacious feeling because of this moonroof. There's lots of people walking around here right now, so pardon the noise. This is why it's like a normal car and a normal commute. In the back, loads of space. Despite the fact that you have this sloped, tapered C-pillar, you still have plenty of room to actually put stuff, and you can fold down that 60-40 split if you need to put bigger stuff. For me, I like to put a bicycle in the car, not on the car, for 2 reasons. One, security. When you go on a long trip with a bike and you've got it on the roof or on a trailer hitch, it can get stolen, and that's a very expensive piece of carbon fiber I would like to maintain. 2, it just kills your fuel economy. But one of the nice things about this is you can put stuff back there, and then you can still use this little cubby for maybe a cooler or some of the wetter things that might spill. You need to put your ice cream somewhere, you don't want it on the upholstery. There you go. Let me show you under the hood real quick before we get going, just so you can see what we're talking about. Now, it's interesting because this is on a Pathfinder platform, and this is a 4-cylinder. The Pathfinder gets the 6-cylinder. That may be strange, but the VC Turbo, I think, is hope that the internal combustion will live on, because everyone else has gone into hybridization or full battery electrics. Nissan, for better or worse, has really committed to honing in the best efficiency and new technology with internal combustion engines. And this variable compression turbo 4-cylinder is very cool, because you've got a 2-liter that can range from, I believe, 8-to-1 compression ratio to 14-to-1 compression ratio. And the idea there is that you have much more efficiency with a high compression engine, so that 14-to-1 compression ratio is going to deliver better MPGs. Unfortunately, it's very complex, and in earlier iterations of this, there have been recalls because the bearings on that multi-link setup that allows it to actually change compression ratios was failing, and so hopefully we're out of the woods on that. Hopefully they've honed this in a place, but do your research and make sure you know what you're getting into. I need to be more aggressive. There we go. Anyway, what are we rocking for wheels and tires? On the Autograph, you get the big boys, the 21-inch wheels with a 265 section tire all around. On the Sport and Luxe, you get a 20-inch. I don't think you're going to notice the difference that much, but what happens on the inside is really where the luxury starts to take notice of the price, because it is a big jump from the Sport to the Autograph. And that's when you start to feel like this is a really, really nice place to be. And the materials, the use of materials, the style of these materials, A+. Sure, you have very Nissan appearing clusters and this kind of haptic touch stuff that is not always my favorite, but is functional and works and pretty easy to use. Similar steering wheel and controls with the ProPilot Plus and all that good stuff. But anyway, let's get in and go for a drive. Yeah. All right, let's see. I'm gonna move some stuff around because I've kind of been living out of this vehicle for the last couple hours here in Tennessee. We've got CarPlay. One of the cool things about this setup is, of course, you know, pretty normal to have a wireless charge thing. Now, I always like to just plug in because it makes my phone too hot. But here's the thing about this setup is that, what are you barking at me for? Good Lord, that was a lot of beeping. Is it just because my seatbelt's not on? I mean, I'm not in gear or anything. But anyway, they now have a pretty fast charging wireless setup, but it also has a fan and a magnet. So not only does it lock your phone in place, but it actually will blow cold air on your phone to avoid that overheating situation. So A+ for the Infiniti people, because I think that's very clever. Like, everywhere my arms go is very plush and luscious and lovely. Let's see, you can go ahead around me, go for it. Into drive. And we'll pull out of here. Ooh, all right, so you saw that little bit of lurch. I gave it a little bit of throttle and the thing just takes off. This was something that I was frustrated with on the QX60. And then on this car, the engineers have just told me that they have dialed in the throttle response here to actually do that more. They made it a more abrupt throttle and that first sort of 10% of travel. Here at Cortina Farms, if you're curious where we ended up. And I would prefer more throttle travel, more pedal travel before opening the throttle that much. It just makes it easier to drive smoothly. Oh, this is gorgeous. This is really pretty. So I would like to think that I have pretty good throttle control. I drive on racetracks, I drive lots of different cars. However, the normal person who is going to get in this car with very little throttle control is probably going to be lurching all around. So that's something that's a little bit annoying to me. It is, however, connected to a 9-speed automatic transmission. The reason I like that is because it's not a CVT. It very well could have been a CVT, and it isn't. But one of the benefits of that is likely that it can increase the towing capacity. This can tow 6,000 pounds. And while I'm not super familiar off the top of my head with everything in the segment of what they can tow, it does just seem like a lot. All right, that would be nice if you didn't cross double yellows on me, but we're gonna be just fine. So, immediately, relatively luxurious vehicle. And one of the things that's nice about it is the noise canceling, active noise canceling that this vehicle has in order to reduce road noise, in order to actually make it feel more quiet and insulated from the world. The 9-speed will also smoothly change gears, but because this car has this sort of like athletic persona and appearance, it is a little misleading just because it doesn't exactly rocket you into the next gear. So just for example, so while perfectly acceptable, I think the ZF 8-speed has spoiled us over the years, and we're at a point where we fully anticipate snappy, hard upshifts. And downshifts. And while this isn't noticeably slow, it is slower. What do we got over there? I don't even know what that was. Your ears do not deceive you. There are, in fact, fake sounds being piped into this cabin. But if we go into sport mode, it gets a little louder and a little throatier, so it kind of resembles a V6. So while I don't think everyone's going to be flooring it and spinning tires out of everywhere they go, I will say that the traction control system feels a little antiquated, and this is an all-wheel drive system, so I'm a little surprised at how much front wheel spin this is exhibiting, given the fact that it can send power to the rear wheels and compensate for that. It is a very torquey engine for sure, but it needs that turbo to spool up. And it's not the most immediate thing. So for example, like we're at low revs, I'm just gonna mat it. You're gonna hear my foot hit the floor, and I want you to just observe. It's a manual mode. That was not a test of the transmission to downshift, by the way. I just want you to understand, like, foot on floor, build some boost, and go. So let's put it back in drive. Wide open. We'll do it again. Why don't we do it right here? And I want you to listen to when my foot hits the ground to when the car moves. Ready? So just a little bit of delay. And I think I understand why they tuned the throttle pedal to be more abrupt at the lower end of the spectrum, because they probably are trying to make up for the fact that it doesn't have a whole lot of guts until that thing gets spooled up. But that's the situation. Once you're out and moving, it's fine. Really curious to see what people think of this suspension. I kind of think they aired right in the middle between what like a luxury and sporty feel would be. It could be stiffer. I've seen other companies go stiffer and make them more uncomfortable, and then that kind of takes away from the idea that you've got this luxury car, but then maybe you're removing some of the flatness in a corner. But I think this has like the right amount of body roll, which is a little bit, you should have a little bit of body roll. That's okay. We don't need our CUVs, our mid-size SUVs, to be handling flat like they're at a Nürburgring lap time situation. It's fine that these kind of roll around a little bit. And also, I prefer a little bit of roll because having a little bit of roll helps me understand where the level of grip is. The thing that doesn't necessarily help me is this steering. While I think the ratio is great and I think the weighting is good, it's not the most tactile. I can't fully tell what's going on through my fingertips. It's not bad. It's just noticeable. That's all I will say. Not letting me get that gear. I don't fully understand that, because I was definitely not going to be above the red line or even anywhere close to it. So sometimes on the downshifts on the paddles, it will lock you out of what is a perfectly appropriate shift. You can hear it spinning up that inside front wheel. Handling wise, I think it's fine in some of the faster corners. I just think it's a little clumsy at low speed stuff. That's all. It's like it's got big feet, giving me the downshift. But then it goes in downshifts automatically. Now, to be fair, this is a pre-production model. Just want to make sure we're not going up there. This is a pre-production model, so it is possible that some of that tuning is just a little unfinished. Now you may hear a little bit of what seems like static to my left. There must be something in the window seal over a certain speed. It's just a little bit going on there. Again, pre-production model. It's possible that that's just a symptom of that. But everything else in the car feels really rock solid. Like the build quality in this car actually does feel fantastic. And this is what we always wanted from our Japanese luxury options, that we're supposed to fight against the Germans. Problem is now they've got to fight against the Germans and the Koreans because Genesis is absolutely killing it. But Infiniti has pledged that their dealership and service experience is going to be elevated now. So they'll do like valet service to come and pick up your car and bring it to a service center while you're at work or at home or wherever you're going. So that way you don't even have to go to those places. You don't have to set foot in the store if you don't want to. There is a noticeable amount of torque steer as well, which I wasn't anticipating. So when you get on that throttle and it gives you that downshift, it will kind of pull itself to the right a little bit. We can get around him nicely. Are we good? Yeah, you want me to do this? Yeah, you're not going to get mad at me, but that's a bit of a blind corner. We're going to find out in a second, but we'll let these guys get beyond the bridge, and then we'll go for it. That looks fun and mildly horrifyingly dangerous with the... oh, there's another one coming? Holy cow. You're going to let me go before we take these power lines down? What are we doing here? Let this guy go. This is a cluster. Just Tennessee things. Yeah, just to prove that sound that you're hearing off the left, if you're wearing headphones with this binaural setup, the microphones are in my ears. So I'm going to take out the left microphone, put it over there, bring it back. Yeah, see? Not static from speakers. There's nothing going on there. So must just be a little bit of wind noise coming through there. Rolling into Nashville. I am now in traffic, and this is where the throttle thing doesn't really do it for me. It's a little too sensitive, and sometimes I just don't get along with this throttle and transmission tune. And that's my preference. You may have a different preference. You may drive this and think this is perfect. I want an ultra sensitive throttle that I only have to kiss to get moving. I prefer to have a little bit of pedal travel gives me more resolution. And the other thing is that I typically get foot pain or like cramps if for long periods of time I have to keep my foot basically at 12 o'clock off the pedal. And in this car, I am forced to really just almost have to stay off throttle most of the time and just kind of lean into it a tiny bit. So that does get a little bit annoying at certain speeds. But again, these are the reasons why you need to test drive cars that you are going to buy. You have to know if that's going to annoy you, because what might annoy me will not annoy you, and vice versa. I can give you my perspective, and then you can go drive the car and see what you agree with and what you don't, because I'm sure I'll talk to other people who say, oh, I love this new tune, it feels great. I personally, not a huge fan. Other than that, I think as a daily driver, this is a really nice little package. It definitely delivers on its luxury promises, for sure. I think at low speeds, it can be a little clumsy in the handling department. And I just mean if you're really trying to make some aggressive moves. I don't know that that's a promise it's making. So again, I'm kind of okay with that. Oops, I should have taken that. I keep missing turns, man. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have stopped for her. We'll do a little loop here. That's fine. We have more to talk about. You got to move over a little bit. There we go. Okay. Nashville driving is something else. I'll tell you that much. Deja vu. Showgirls Gentlemen's Club. I'm all set. See what I mean? It just gets a little bouncy there on the throttle. I'm giving it just the littlest bit, and it's practically spinning tires on me. So, all right, I'll shut up about that. I think it's a nice, smooth car. I really dig the noise canceling. I think the seats are just fantastic. This is something that I really value in a daily driver, and I think it's overlooked sometimes, and I think sometimes automakers go a little crazy where they're like, we've got like 30-way adjustable seats. You're like, no. Just make a really good seat with adjustable lumbar and just call it a day. Just give me what I need there, and this absolutely delivers on that, and I really appreciate it. Oh my goodness. You see some wild stuff in Nashville. I'll tell you that much. I have varying opinions on the variable compression 2-liter turbo. On the one hand, I kind of like the character because it's got an old school turbo feel to it. There's not a whole lot of juice down low. It builds up boost, and it's a rocket, and it's got loads of torque. I think the technology is so cool. Variable compression, man, that's a big deal. It's very cool, and it's something that I appreciate Nissan is invested in to perpetuate the internal combustion engine. Now, was that financial investment the correct gamble? Probably not, because while yes, this does improve fuel economy, it doesn't improve it really enough, because people who spent a little less money on their internal combustion engines technology with less complicated engines were able to hybridize their cars and kind of get away with better fuel economy. I think this is 22 combined, so that's not a staggering number that's going to make you feel super warm and fuzzy. Let's see, where are we going here? I think we just got to go right in here. This is it. We're back at the Conrad. Very cool. But if you are looking for something that has proper style, I think this really hits the mark. And to get into, let's say, like a Cayenne with the Sportback style, you're in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. You're, 130, 140, whatever. $100,000 is a lot of money. And maybe you want a premium vibe, a premium style. This 100% has it. I'm like having fun looking at this thing in the glass. And the design language on this is fantastic. It makes me excited for Infiniti going forward. I am really looking forward to seeing where they go with their powertrains, because I think that is the real meat and potatoes of what is going to make all the difference for them in the future as a successful company or not. All right, we're going that way. Anyway, I'm going to pull in here and wrap up. This was like a nice little commute. Thank you guys so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. I'm really excited to have been able to share this new QX65 and hopefully the start of a new era of Infiniti for the masses. This is a big deal for them. And the last thing I'll sign off on is this probably has the fastest steering wheel motor in the game. I don't know why, it just is. Anyway, oh, we ended on 993 and I just posted that 993 Carrera S video like a couple hours ago. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Don't forget to respect the drive, and I'll see you in the next one.